You are now listening to Talk is Cheap FM. Brought to you by Bet the Tuesday.
Talk is cheap, motherfucker. What? Yo! Oh my god! Yo! Okay, listen to this shit.
But that doesn't. Oh, what are you gonna say?
There was a friend, a guy that I met during spring break. When I was working spring break, right? We were working spring break, so I was down there the whole month, like shooting the event. There was a dude there that told me that he was in a vampire community somewhere in Texas. I'm not gonna say where. And I was like, okay, what's that? You know? And it was a brother. So I was just like, all right, this is cool and shit. You're open-minded. But then, like, he continued to explain, like, what was going on and drinking blood. And I'm like, is it real blood? They're like, yeah, it's real blood, bro. And all that shit. And I was just like, what the fuck? But then after, like, I got, like, that thought, you know, I wrapped my thoughts around it. I was just like, okay, now I know that people intentionally, you know, drink people blood, you know. But then I'm just like, yo, I've had sex with a chick that was on her period, so I mean, who am I to judge, you know? Tomato. I just don't drink the shit. I just, you know.
Yeah, don't yuck their yum, you know.
Yeah. So, okay, so she had to taste somebody's blood to get into the mood, right?
Right.
So, and what was her situation like? What was she demonstrating?
Well, the thing is that she'd gone through a series, like the way that she had tapped into her primal state was she experienced a serious trauma, and when she was a teenager, and so then she had dissociative identity disorder, and so like that primal state is another identity, and like so the dissociative identity disorder is a clinical name for multiple personality disorder. And so that feral state is distinct, and so she usually needs the way that she can guarantee that she gets in that state is through blood.
So like once she tastes blood, like she like fucking turns like a werewolf, or was it stages or what? Like,
well, that's the interesting thing. She was one of the people speaking. The other person, who was one of her partners, was more identified more with gorillas in terms of like the animal that he becomes when he becomes primal, and for her it was like some sort of canine, like dog or wolf.
Yeah.
But that's the interesting thing. He made a point of saying that there's no there's no limitation on what animal with which you can identify during your primal state. Like if you think about it, like we are primal animals just as humans. Like we and so like you can be a totally extra. You do not have to be a terrestrial animal like that currently exists or ever has existed. You can be something of your own fashioning, just that you identify. Like that with which you align. So, and so it's a really interesting way that we deal with that people can deal with fears, with traumas, is kind of that mode of being.
So okay, I got a question. and this might be somebody's thinking this. So, let's say like let's say that my primal animal is like a lion or whatnot. So I get in my primal animal and I'm a lion, right? Am I getting off just by being that lion, or am I actually doing sexual acts while I am that lion? Like, is there like, is it just kind of, it's up to the person or what? Like, are people getting off just by turning into like their tuning into their primal self, or is it more? Are there acts going on as well?
I think it really depends case by case. Again, like it's somewhere where you want to tread lightly because you have to be careful about how you control an environment so that the best outcomes come out of it. But yeah, everybody can have different goals in terms of what they want to experience. But that's the interesting thing about all of this is that you like it's good to have like goals, but like keep your expectations low, because and I think that's important that's an important component of life in general, but also in terms of consent culture, that's where so people can because if somebody if somebody wants to go out with somebody, it's like, oh, that'd be really nice, but it's really high stakes, and I'm sure that somebody can speak more intelligently about this and more correctly, but getting turned down is this make or break thing, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And so that is really shitty. We can't have that anymore, because it's essentially this patriarchal thing where you're projecting your desires on somebody else, and it should always be okay for somebody to say no, and it's no is a complete sentence. They don't have to give you an explanation. They just no is no.
Yo, that's how I grew up. Especially being black and shit. Like I did have sex talks with my mom and dad, and they're just like, yo, if you're with a girl and she says no, just don't do it, because you already got 2 strikes against you. You're male and you're black, saying you don't want to go to jail over no pussy or anything that you're into. So don't even fucking do that shit. So I understand that shit. You know what I mean? And yeah, no is no. And I think for a dude out there, especially if you're out there chasing women and stuff, man, just expect to hear no more often, because I mean, it's especially just expect to hear no more often. You know what I mean? And don't get down about it or whatnot. And fuck, I mean, that's about it. That's all I can really say. If you're not there's certain dudes just straight off the bat that that get pursued, but more or less there's a majority of dudes out there who have to go out and they have to I guess chase or whatnot. And if you're out there chasing,
I would argue that even that is there's all right. So there's a lot to unpack here. Good God, and that I will not be able to uncover fully.
Oh, we could do another episode.
I'll say a few things. One, this criminal justice system is really shitty and terrible. And it targets black men. It targets black people in general, and especially it targets black men.
I agree.
However, the reason for respecting somebody's consent is like basic human decency. And of course, like maybe at first, like you were taught about the stick rather than, I don't even say the carrot, but like just like the fact of just being a good human being.
Yeah.
But I think that part of it is like, even 5 years ago, like consent culture was not as prevalent as it is now, and so like people taught things for different reasons, and it's good that we're getting to a point where we're getting to where, like, as a society, we are respecting everyone for their wishes in terms of consent. We are not there yet, but we have a ways to go. And in terms of like, what else were we talking about here? Do some moderation, my man.
Oh, well, shit. Here, I agree with everything that you said. Yeah, just like, I tell dudes this all the time. I'm just like, yo, like, you should never, like, try to pressure somebody into doing something they don't want to do. That's fucked up. You shouldn't do it. You shouldn't have to, you shouldn't try to guilt anybody as well. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's for both. That's for anybody. That's for anybody. And like the culture that we're in right now, like the consent and everything, like, I'm down for it. And I just tell people, like, just be very careful and make sure, like, the person that you're messing with really wants to be messed with, because it's a slippery slope, you know. And just to be extra careful, there are people out there who are, like, vindictive, and I'm not saying everybody, but they might falsely accuse you for some shit. So just make sure, like, whatever environment you're in, especially nowadays, that, you know, it's clear that, hey, this is what's going down, and this is what it is. You know, however you want to do that, you do that. But, like, me, like, now, I don't even bother, like, talking to anybody. One, I'm too busy. Two, I don't want to right now, you know, especially stuff that's going on.
Well, let's say this, like, there is an infinitesimal, like, amount of false accusation, in terms, like, if you look at the stats, and so it's important for women and femmes, non-binary people, like, everyone who speaks about their sexual assault experiences to be believed. Also, you want to, like, in terms of human decency, you want to make sure that people don't experience this in the first place. Like, you want to, what should I say? In terms of, like, making sure that people don't experience it in the first place, because, like, you just don't want to, you want to do no harm. You want to bring joy in people's lives. Like, you're going to, like, seek enthusiastic consent.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, for sure.
But, like, I also wanted to get into, like, yeah, like, I have an OkCupid profile, and I get contacted by plenty of people, and that includes plenty of women, and I think that it really, like, yes, it depends on context and location, right? So in a place here, in Seattle, where it's at least nominally progressive, it has a lot. It's progressive within heavy quotes. It like you have a lot of situations where women and femmes pursue you.
Yeah.
But yeah, Oklahoma is not the same. However, I think that seeking there are chasing just sounds like something out of, because you use the word chase.
Yeah.
And chasing sounds like one of those terrible Tex Avery cartoons where it's a wolf chasing after a blonde woman or something like that, and howling and stuff.
That might be maybe an old school reference, but I mean literally, I could say thirst. You're thirsting. I can use the terminology thirst, but a lot of dudes that I talk to, we use that terminology chasing after women and everything like that. And that might sound primitive, but shit. People I say that, but I don't chase. I don't even chase after women no more. So I personally don't do that. But I guess what I was trying to say is that, at the end of the day, I feel, in my opinion, that females have more options than males because in general, males usually pursue females, and females can just, they don't really have to, go out and pursue. They can just show up and, people will buy them drinks and everything like that. But very rare do you see that happen the other way. That's what I was trying to say. So in reality, it makes sense for males to get turned down because females have a lot of options.
So there's a lot to that, right?
Yeah.
So people from women and femmes all get propositioned a lot, and receive a lot of dick pics and stuff like that, but that isn't necessarily desirable, that's in they're all unwanted dick pics are unwanted, and so there's so many ways where guys need to take no for an answer,
Oh yeah, for sure.
People sometimes I have some friends who post OkCupid and Tinder stuff from jerky guys, and usually it's the guy is saying something about the woman's appearance, or or they're saying something about they're essentially propositioning them in the first message, or something that they clearly in their profile are not interested in,
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, any dude that just straight up says, "Yo, I wanna do this and do that," that's kind of goofy. That's goofy to me. You know what I mean? That you got to be smooth with it. You know what I mean? You gotta. First and foremost, you got to see what they're into, and then segue into that. Because 9 times out of 10, if you straight up just say, "Yo, I want to do this and that" to somebody online that you don't know, and they're down with that, then I wouldn't even trust that whole situation. That's just me. That's how I look at it. But I've never and people can call me out, but I've never been straight up "Yo, I've never sent a dick pic to anybody," because that you can get in trouble for that. You can go to jail. And I've never just straight up been "Yo, let me, suck on them toes. I'll do everything, I've never been straight up like that in anybody's DM. Now, I might have said that under like comments, under like pictures in my younger days, but I even stopped that shit. So I just think that's kind of goofy that some dudes straight up do that. I mean,
yeah, I mean we again we have a long way to go as a society and culture, and so yeah, we need to educate the people, especially the men around us, in terms of consent culture.
Yeah,
and ways to appeal to people without like trying coercion or anything else that's really nasty.
Yeah.
And so like I think that a lot of times men have to see their sense of self-worth, and because like they like when people like talk about like how women and femmes get more hits on OkCupid and stuff like that, it's like that's like you gotta bring your A game, like bring your A game, because like mostly the woman is filtering for like the quality interaction, and so like you do what you can to stand out yourself, and so like put some practice into writing your profile, find good pictures, be the best version of you that you can be, because if you show yourself off as the best version of you, not the best version of somebody else, don't be the best version of Drake, don't be the best version of Mahershala Ali, then you will attract people who are attracted to you, as opposed to people who are attracted to to Drake or Mahershala Ali.
Let me ask you a question, because I don't do online dating or anything anything like that. I have hooked up with people that I've met online, but I haven't done any account or anything like that. But isn't isn't like going to these apps, is it to look for love or is it to hook up?
It really depends on what you're looking for. In OkCupid, you can literally state that you're looking for long-term dating, short-term dating, new friends, hooking up. Like you can all of the above. So you can look for all of those things on OkCupid. Tinder, even though it has this reputation as a hookup app, is also an app for finding dates that could turn into something long term. I had a long term relationship with somebody via somebody that I met through Tinder, and so like make sure that you read the profile before you send out messages, like even if you match on Tinder or on OkCupid, because that way you are able to make sure that you have that you're looking for the same thing. Like people usually are pretty explicit about saying that they're not looking for hookups in their profiles, whether it be Tinder or OkCupid. But
what?
Ahead.
Oh, but what?
But that being said, so here's the thing about hookups. Like for I'd say for all parties involved, but especially for women, like the quality of like a one-off, one night stand hookup experience isn't very high. And so like
hold on. What do you mean by quality though? In what aspect?
Quality, in terms of like sense of satisfaction. Like for me, like I just don't like it's like, oh, it's nice to be with somebody one time, but in terms of like the actual quality of the sexual experience, it's usually not that great.
Man,
I don't come away from it feeling like, oh, like that was amazing. Like oftentimes,
yeah.
And so it's are you like, do you feel me on that?
I do. I think like out of all the hookups, just one night stands, there was probably one that I was just like, wow, yeah. But the other ones, it was just like me busting that nut, but that was my whole mission, back in the day. It was just like, yo, let me just get off, and then that's it. But there was one where I was just like, yo, there was like like we had a sexual connection. You know what I mean? But,
yeah.
But then she wanted to, like, next time I like try to talk to her or whatnot, she got all into church and shit, and I was just like, oh my god. Well, I guess I'm not even gonna like dive into that, but which there's nothing wrong with that. If you go to church, you go to church. But I feel that like never mind. I don't even want to. Here's some. I write a lot of stand-up jokes, like just standalone stand-up jokes and everything. I have a whole book of them, right? And they're all for like my life experience. So I do try to, test a couple of jokes out on my podcast here and there. You know what I mean? Just to, say stuff. So some people might actually think I'm an asshole by saying certain stuff, but I mean, it is what it is. But there is some kind of satire into some of the stuff I say. You know what I mean? I just want to throw that out there for people who are listening. Yeah, but would you advise people? Because so I am a person who I'm always busy, right? I really don't care about anybody else's feelings. I don't want to get close to anybody because I will start caring, right? And I feel like whenever I am with somebody, my creativity and everything else goes down the drain because I'm concerned about the person that I'm with, right? And if I'm just looking for a hookup, would you tell me that it was? Would you give me advice to tell me that, hey, go on to like OkCupid or what's the other one, Tinder or whatnot, or would you just I don't know, or would you like tell me just to, hey, just go out and find somebody? Like,
go with. I'd say go with the strategy. You can try out OkCupid and Tinder, but if you already have good experiences in terms of finding people who are mutually interested in having something casual or friends with benefits or even a one night stand like in person, then do that.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So, but I would also say, like, don't rule it out unless you've tried it. Like, I know that I'm a better writer in terms of like writing funny things and stuff like that than I am in terms of small talk and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's where it makes sense for me to invest my time in terms of like really showing the best version of me, like through that medium of like online dating. And I think also online dating is great because it helps to make sure that people are being people who want to be contacted or contacted. It's like, it doesn't like totally optimize that, but it's better than talking to somebody at a bar and then finding out, oh, like they would not like to be talked to.
Yeah, for sure.